Hello, welcome to another briefing. So I wanted to start out this briefing by showing this projection of comparison of the computer model projections for the European model and the GFS. The GFS is the American computer model. And so basically we have what we're looking at here is the thickness values of the atmosphere in the reds and blues. The reds are higher thickness values, and the blues are lower. And usually when you have in between the red and the blue, 546 and 540 here. That's my cat. Sorry. In between those is where you usually have the jet stream with most of the storm track and the energy in the atmosphere that's transporting storm systems. That's where that jet stream usually lies. And then if you look at the greens and blues, that is precipitation, that is rain and snow consecutively. And we can also see the surface pressure isolines here. You see this high pressure 1028 millibar high pressure center at the surface here. Over the ocean you have this 1005 low and this 996 low over Montana and over looks like near the Calgary region, this one up here. So so this is accumulated precipitation and snow in the last 6 hours. And as I put this into motion going through today, tonight, into tomorrow, you see this storm system that's moving through the Pacific Northwest right now. It's too far inland to have any kind of effect on California or the Bay Area, unfortunately. But what it will do is drive the winds, the very strong winds. See this very tight pressure gradient here that's developing not only aloft but at the surface as well. Both of the thickness values are tight gradient, and the mean sea level pressure readings are also pretty tight here. We have surface high pressure coming down here in between Oregon and Idaho, and you have a low pressure center over the deserts to the desert southwest of California, Arizona. And so you have a very tight pressure gradient, a northeast wind developing here over these regions. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But as I put this further into motion, you see basically a high pressure ridge, a lot of high pressure, warm, mild, dry air, cold nights, a lot of radiational cooling. And then you see a system coming through on the 8th, 9th, into the 10th through the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland getting a lot of rain. And then it's interesting, this is where we start to see some model disagreement. The European doesn't really bring much. It brings maybe another inside slider, but it does not bring much to California. However, the GFS around the 11th or so does want to bring some precipitation on the right side here. The GFS, as you see, it brings some precipitation. This is where we had model disagreement with that cold front there on the GFS, and the European keeps it dry. And then going further out, you see maybe another system maybe clipping some of the Northern California region, but doesn't look very likely if we go to precipitation totals throughout the whole period here through the next 10 days. Actually, both computer models don't show very much south of the Bay Area. The European actually doesn't show much at all south of maybe the Eureka region. And the GFS, which is a little more aggressive, still just very, very low amounts for the Bay Area and nothing south of that. So not looking very good rain-wise for the next 10 days or so. At least that could still change though. So I'll be keeping an eye on this day to day. And talking about the winds now, yeah, this is temperature. I'm going to talk about the winds first, actually. And so this is looking at the projection. Let's start out. This is the National Blender model starting out at about 1 p.m. today, which is in about 44 minutes from now. You're looking at northwest winds mostly along the coast, coming in a little bit to some of the Bayside regions, but nothing really significant. As we go in through the afternoon, that onshore breeze pushes a little more, but nothing really significant. And then as we go through tomorrow morning, there's really not a lot of wind, so it could get pretty chilly in some areas. But look at, as we go through tomorrow afternoon, look at the Central Valley. It starts getting pretty windy. And then tomorrow evening into the overnight hours, look at that. Look at 4 a.m. Wednesday. Look at a 41 mile per hour sustained wind. Looks like in just west of Sacramento. I put the gusts, 63 mile per hour gust at this location. So this is just a projection for the blend of computer models that we have at the moment, but this is some really intense wind, and that's why we already have planned power shutoffs in portions of the mountains of the North Bay, Marin, Sonoma counties specifically, and the East Bay Hills as well. From what I understand, there are planned outages due to fire risk in those areas because of these dry winds that will be blowing through. If we take a look at the relative humidity and the dew points, let's see. Relative humidity as these winds are blowing early Thursday morning, 20s and 30s, and then gets a little drier in the afternoon. Not critically dry, but pretty dry. You don't want that strong wind combined with this dry air. Dew points are pretty low. Dew points in the 20s and 30s here. So anyways, let me get to temperatures, and then that's pretty much all I'll have to talk about. But looking at, let's start with overnight lows. Looking at tomorrow morning, this really is going to depend on how much wind we get. But if we don't get a lot of wind, there are some, I am estimating some of the coldest inland valleys will get into the 30s. We got Santa Rosa with a projected low of 43 and Petaluma 43 per the National Blender models here. I'd say it could get a little colder than that if the winds are not very significant, especially in these colder inland valleys here. We're looking at maybe 50, low 50s around the bay. And then as you go further inland into the Central Valley, you have maybe some low to mid 40s per the National Blended models here. Wednesday, a little bit milder because of the winds. Thursday can get really chilly. 38 projected for Santa Rosa. I'd say surrounding areas could get into the low 30s. You're looking at widespread low 40s and some upper 30s in the Central Valley. Looking at even along the water, Half Moon Bay 47, SFO 48, 50 in Alameda, 47 Oakland, 46 Hayward. Some really chilly air, even near the water. Some of the mildest spots climatologically overnight this time of year are going to be below 50 degrees. So that's some pretty chilly air. We go into Friday, pretty similar situation. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, start to warm up a little bit there on those overnight lows. If you go into daytime highs, starting out with tomorrow, which is going to be pretty similar to today. Some widespread 70s, low 70s to some upper 70s in the warmest inland valleys. Tomorrow you got, tomorrow is similar to today. Wednesday you got a little bit of cooling, down to the low 70s, maybe upper 60s for some areas. And then 70-ish Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not much change to the daytime highs. Pretty comfortable weather, pretty seasonable for the next about next 6 days or so. Monday is where we might have a weather system moving through, so we are seeing a potential of a cool down, temperatures back into the 60s, but that's far out, so take that with a grain of salt. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That's all I have to talk about for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you're able to get something out of this, and I'll see you next time.